YouTube, what's going on? Kyle back again with ePoolSupply. Today we are going to take you guys on a little trip. We are going to walk you through the entire functionality and give you guys kind of a range across all kinds of in-floor systems. I've got a line of heads here from every manufacturer. There are some that aren't listed, but the major manufacturers that we carry. So we'll walk through all these, and then I got a special surprise for you guys. I've got the man, the myth, the legend himself, so stay tuned. Alright guys, and we're back. So again, today we are going to go over a complete in-floor system for all your pools, basic pools. So we've got every manufacturer. We got Caretaker, we got Blue Square, we have a big section here for A&A, and then we've got Paramount right here on the end. So I got the man, the myth, the legend, Gregory here to help me explain all this stuff. So we'll just kind of jump right in. So why would you want an in-floor system rather than going with your traditional suction side? Or
you know what? I've seen a lot of examples just this week. Been to a house that had a heater on there. What was happening is it had return lines in the pool, which is typical with a vacuum. So there's the vacuum sucking water to the pump. The return lines are bringing water back to the pool. So that's how it gets water. The company had put a heater on this pool, and what happened is it was sucking water in, bringing water back, but because those return lines weren't stirring up the water like an in-floor system would, it was heating up half the pool. The other half of the pool, because the pressure wasn't as high to those returns, was cold. 50, 60 degrees, really cold. This water was hot. The temperature, the heater was kicking off saying, hey, the water's warm. But with an in-floor system, you're gonna heat up a pool so much faster than a vacuum system. It's just stirring up the water. Any kind of movement you can get in the pool is gonna be so much better, healthier water than just sucking from one point and returning in a point or two. So if you think of a stream versus a pond, stream's a lot cleaner water. With an in-floor system, you're getting much cleaner water, healthier water.
That makes sense. Just kind of show you guys everything. So Caretakers, really big brand in the industry. They're kind of all over the place. They do have a different variety of heads, especially in colors. So the first one we got here for you guys is actually a standard Bayonet style high flow. So the one specific thing about these is they will come factory installed with a nozzle, so you cannot remove this nozzle. The nozzle's already installed straight from the factory. There's no way to remove it without getting crafty, which we highly do not suggest. The purpose of these ones is typically you're going to put these in like the deepest end of your pool. So with the high flow like that, you're going to get the optimal flow to make sure that you're pointing everything directly at that drain. Very similar to a PCC 2000 system where you're using like a fixed and a rotating. So like I said, we've got some basic blues and tans here for you, but they have a variety of colors, so just check out all the links in the description below. We'll actually take you guys to all the landing pages on our website that'll show you guys all the different colors and styles here for you. So really cool head. So the next one you're gonna go for is just the standard non-nozzled head straight from Caretaker. So this one actually gives you the option to choose from one of their 5 nozzles. So they've got a mini, they've got a stepping bench, they've got a standard, you've got a flow adjust, and you have a flow plus. So based off of what you're gonna need in your pool, like you'll wanna make sure you reference your diagram if you still have it. If not, you're gonna have to kind of play around with what sizes are gonna work best in each cycle, especially if you have a pause or stop at your valve where you can kind of start to determine how many heads you have on each cycle. So, and we'll show you guys all that later in the video when we actually get out into live action in the field for you.
I may be mistaken too on the Caretaker. I think you can request the plan from them and they'll send you the schematic if it was submitted to them. And it'll show the different heads where they're supposed to go in the zone. So you get the right ones that you need there.
Even if you're not the original pool owner?
If you're not, yeah, you just call and say, this is the address, do you have to plan for it? Don't quote me on that. Comments below, yeah.
It's worth a shot.
It's worth a shot for sure to get the right stuff.
That way you're not taking a guess. Because again, just like your factory installed nozzle, once you push these nozzles in, they are not meant to come out. The only way it's going to come out is with time. They're going to wear down from your chemistry and usage, so that's the only other way they're going to pop out of there. And typically when that happens, you're going to replace the whole head instead, not just the nozzles. So another one they do, which they don't actually they don't manufacture the collars for anymore. So if you guys got these types of heads and your collar broke, unfortunately you guys got to upgrade to chipping out your pool and putting a new collar in. There is no way around it. There's no other threaded collars available out there in the industry, but it is their Caretaker threaded. You can get it in both the high flow straight from the factory as well as the open end like we do have here, so that way you can put the right size nozzle in here. As Greg said earlier, you guys can always contact Caretaker and give it a shot to see if they'll actually get you some plans over to get everything set up for your pool system. So,
and do we have a retro for that too?
What
for that?
Who?
For that head? Does A&A make a retro for the threaded one, or is that something different I'm thinking of?
No, that's the Pool Valet.
Oh, that's
so they do make a Pool Valet. So
disregard.
There are other retros out there, but typically you're going to want to stick OEM. But then if the only way that you're going to end up needing to get something else on the line is if the collar cracks. I mean, if the collar cracks, you're kind of out of luck, and you got to figure out what's going to work best for it. It's not like the PV3s where they have the retro for the Pool Valet where you can glue in a collar. It's just you got to chip out and
get what you get.
Start again. You know, so I think they stopped using the threaded in the early 90s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So your pool's got to be 25 years old plus.
Yeah, and at that point, I mean, it may be time for you to want to adjust anyways. Yeah. So that's pretty much it for Caretaker. They do have a variety of different ones. Maybe I'll have my guy pop a couple up here. They do have the Turbo Clean. They do have different varieties that they carry, but their main heads are typically the Caretaker 99s. You can get them in a bayonet or the threaded style. Again, both in high flow and fully adjustable for you guys to choose your nozzles. So that's pretty much it for Caretaker. And then you're gonna wanna jump into Blue Square. So really cool with Blue Squares, I like the weighted design, so that they can actually, they'll just kind of self-sit, so it's not a spring like some of these other ones where you have a spring. How many things?
14, I think we count on top.
14, so they're really cool. They actually have, Greg pointed out earlier, that they actually have 2 dots with the lines on every turn point on here, so then that way you'll actually know where you're at in the cycle. So you'll see we run into issues with that later when we're on the field and dealing with an A&A head. We weren't quite sure on what cycle it was on. So it is pretty nifty to see that they do put that on top so you can see. Mostly for your pool guys. I wouldn't recommend that as a normal.
Yeah, you don't get it.
But they do come with adjustable nozzles, so you can actually twist these nozzles off. And they give you 3 different sizes, I believe, real similar to like a PV3 where they give you the small, your medium, and your large. Again, it's all gonna be based around where these are in your pool. We'll touch base on that again when we get out into the field for you guys, so you guys can kind of see the differences in that. But variety of colors, again, make sure you guys check out the links below. I mean, you got anything else to add on Blue Square for that?
No, that's it.
Yeah. All right, well, let's move on. So.
Now the good stuff.
Moving into A&A, yeah.
So the first one we have here, and there's videos going through these heads if you want more details. We're just gonna do a brief overview kind of on the heads and then show you guys in the field them actually working and how an import system works. So pretty exciting stuff Kyle put together here. But this is the Style 2 cleaning head. You can tell by this little spring at the bottom. It has a very similar one to the Style 1. However, size difference pretty apparent there. Style 1's giant. They both have locking bayonet fittings at the bottom where it twists in, quarter turn locks into the collar there. I'm actually gonna jump back to this one because this is the older one. So this is a Style 1. They make these in high and low flow, an assortment of colors, not a ton. I think white and gray are the most popular. And then I didn't even know they had this tan one, but there's a tan one here. So
we got all the colors.
We have all the colors. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So high flow is apparent by that 9/16, that large opening there. If you're not sure what opening you have, if you can fit your pinky in there, probably a high flow, depending on your size of your hands. If you can't, probably a low flow. So the low flow one's a lot smaller. Little tip.
Didn't know that.
Has a squared off O-ring in there. This guy has a problem sticking to here sometimes, so when you go to pull it out, sometimes if it's old, the O-ring will stick down in the head. So way to get that out, either dive in the pool or use the tool, the 2-prong tool to kind of pop that O-ring out of there and then net it out of the pool. That's common. So that's if you have these in your pool, it's an older pool for sure. So definitely time to maybe upgrade to one of the Venturi newer style heads if you ever refinish your pool. So next one up, Style 2. This guy comes also in high and low flow. This guy, pinky in there, that's a high flow head. This guy has the locking bayonet fittings. You can also tell a little trick on these. If you look at the bottom, I can see a gap in there, so that tells me it's a high flow. If there's a wafer in there and you can't see through there, then you know it's a low flow. So you actually don't even have to pop open the head to be able to tell if it's a high or low flow. This guy again comes in a bunch of different colors, a little bit more than the style one, just because this was white and gray, maybe black. This one's got a few different options for sure. The upgrade to this, we're gonna get to here with the G2 cleaning head. So that one, we're gonna skip over the G4 just for a second here. We'll come right back to it. But the style, or the G2 is an upgrade to the style 2. So it fits in the exact same floor fitting. You can pull this head out, pop this one in. Neat thing about it is if you ever pull these out, some of the times you'll notice hairline cracks along here. And what it is this plastic's just a little bit thinner than the upgraded G2. So you'll notice that locking lug on there's a lot thicker. It's gonna hold up a lot better, bigger spring design. This one also has, the G2 also has an adjustable opening. So there's not having to order how many lows, how many highs. You order one pop-up head and it's gonna do the job of all of those for you.
Highly suggest that.
Very, very nice.
It's definitely a huge upgrade for a very minimal price difference.
It's really, really good head, tried and true. It's the same or a similar design to the G4, which has been around 15 years or so. So we know that that's going to last a long time for you.
And they use the same tools, right?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, good. And that's a good point. So the top of it is still the 3-prong tool design. So that G2 is going to come out with the exact same tool as the Style 2. We're coming back to these, I promise, we're coming back to them. But I just want to talk about these G2s. So this is the G2V for Venturi. So this guy has a large opening at the bottom. You can tell there compared to the G2, standard G2. So what that does is they allow a lot of water in and it tapers down, creating a low pressure jet shooting out of here, and it's drawing in water from the top. If you guys stay tuned a little bit longer, you're gonna see this actually sucking in from the top. I think we got a clip of it at the shot we were at, or shoot we were at today. So, this guy shoots the Venturi. It just increases volume, increases flow, increases circulation of the pool. Really, really healthy for the pool. Great product, worth the few dollars extra to upgrade from that to here. You're gonna say something about where you can place these?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was just gonna ask with those, they don't have an adjustable nozzle like the others.
Correct.
Right?
So that's a very good point. Kyle brings up a very good point. So this guy, it's locked in there. You go to adjust this off, you're gonna start having problems. It can come apart at the bottom, and it's a little tricky to get back together. I'm not gonna do it. Don't mess with it. Don't mess with it. But it's not adjustable like the G2. So this guy is adjustable. The Venturi is preset at the factory to a certain size, and that's gonna work for 99% of your floor situations in a swimming pool. Also highly recommended if you do put these in a pool to have a variable speed pump. If you have a single speed pump and it's tuned to work with these heads, you go and throw these in, it's gonna raise the pressure on your system just because these require about 33% less water. So with that higher pressure, it's just gonna be more strain on the system. Not worth it. If you're gonna upgrade to this, get a variable speed pump, and then you'll just save a ton of money on electricity every year. So
again, check out those links below.
We got it all. We got it all. So now that we've talked about the adjustable, the G4 is very, very similar to the 2 we just talked about. It's just a newer design. It has a nicer, gosh, we have a tool around.
I didn't bring the tools.
That's all right.
Check it out later.
Yeah, we have you'll see us use it out in the field. So the tool for these, what happened with these is the tool would go on there, but there wasn't a way to really lock it on. It was just kind of pressure fit. So by having this one, the tool goes on there, locks on, you can dangle that thing out 15 feet into a pool and it's not going anywhere. Drop it in, lock it in, pull the tool out. Makes it really, really nice in the winter when it's 50 degrees and you don't want to get in the swimming pool.
Yeah.
This one also has the adjustable openings as well. So this is a G4. You can set these to the appropriate openings. Definitely talk to a pool specialist on how you want to set those. There's different ranges. Also, you want to get your GPMs balanced between the zones. If you have a really low requirement GPM zone and then a high requirement where it needs more water, it's going to cause strain on your gear kits, make you go through gear kits quicker. For gear kit parts, you can see the link below as well. And then, all right, so then we move on to the Venturi. This is the newest, latest and greatest from A&A. It has that same locking part on top that helps get the pool out or the head out there and lock into place. Same giant opening on the bottom to allow a lot of water in, and then same low water requirement because it's mixing in stuff there. So really, really neat head from A&A there. 12 stops on all of these. So it takes 12 times of that going up and down for it to ratchet 360 degrees.
So it is still known when you're dealing with an in-floor system that even though it's supposed to produce a better cleaning for you, you still got to sweep your pool. So because you're not like getting any kind of sidewalls, or you're not getting anywhere in those little crevices or hard to reach places, you still got to make sure you get that brush out. And at least, especially in the summertime, especially for us here in Arizona, you got to do it at least once a week to make sure that you're pushing everything to let those heads do the job on the floor, to point everything at the
they're
drain
assisting,
to keep that going. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, otherwise, even with your cleaner, you're still ending up doing that too. So a lot less maintenance, I'd say, right?
Yeah, plus you typically, with import systems, get a better warranty than through a vacuum.
Very true, yeah. You're typically only looking at anywhere from a year to 3 years with the cleaner. And I believe
some of these systems give lifetimes.
Yeah, which is pretty awesome. Yeah. So you're the original owner and you guys are building and you guys are trying to determine what you want to do. Highly suggest going with an in-floor system over a suction side or a pressure side. Really, really uncommon to have a pressure side out here, but I've seen them. So
plus the look of them too. Like if you look in a pool and you see a hose floating on the top, doesn't look as clean. If you look at any really nice pool pictures online, even if it's a vacuum cleaner, they pulled the vacuum out to take the picture because it looks nice without the vacuum.
Very true.
So this right here, gets that up for you.
And if you guys have seen our other videos, especially with all these, we've actually walked you through all the Pebble Tech colors that are actually best off of each color that the manufacturer holds. So really, really nice on how they can actually blend within the bottom of the floor. And when we actually go out into the field later in the video here for you guys, you'll actually see some in action that are really hard to see, especially when they start functioning.
Those sidewall ones are pretty cool too.
Yeah, like you couldn't see any of them. Yeah. All right, so back to it. Then last but not least is Paramount. So this is their newest version. Again, we only have their two most popular here. They do have other versions. They've got different series along the way as well. So this one, even though it's their PV3, they used to call it the PCC 2000 step nozzle. They've got, all the different kinds of series form, Vantage, Vanquish, a lot of different stuff, but essentially the same head. So the only difference with Paramount, especially for the PV3, that I was surprised by, is that there is no ratcheting system. So as it comes up and it comes down, the whole point of this is as the water's starting to, as the pressure starts suction or starting to leave, it kind of slowly turns it.
Yeah, the nozzle's offset a little bit, so it causes it to spin, from my understanding.
Okay,
just a hair, so it ratchets around itself kind of without a ratcheting system.
Because then they do come with 3 different nozzles as well. So anytime you buy one of these, you get the same thing, very similar to Caretaker, how you get to choose, and same thing with Blue Square, how you get to choose the nozzle to make sure that you guys are fine tuning it. So really cool. I mean, I would say that at least without a spring, it's one less wear and tear that you got going on, especially with the weighted design here on the bottom. I personally have these in my pool, and they're great heads. They really, really low maintenance. I did find out using the tool that I actually show you guys later in the video, I had taken the tool that we have for this specific head and pulled them all out just to check them out and clean them, and you do end up getting some kind of debris in here. So I ended up pulling one out and I had a red piece of plastic from something, probably my kids or something, but pulled that out, and now my system's been working great. So that's probably where my top step was having issues, but really cool. This is their light blue version. Again, they got all different kinds of styles, and as me and Greg were talking about earlier, they have the Pool Valet, very similar with the threads on there. If you have that, this will be your next upgrade. Again, we don't have the head here, but they do have a retro kit where you'll actually get a new collar to glue into your existing collar and then drop these heads in there. So then that way you can do it. We also have retros if your collars are still good. We actually have retros made by A&A as well to make sure you screw into those Pool Valets to make sure that you guys can keep your system going. So yeah, tons of options. So that's the PV3. And last, they actually have the 2 versions of the PCC 2000s. So this one's actually the rotating one, just in case you didn't see the giant sticker right here, that they like to tell you. The other one's gonna give you a big sticker that says fixed. So that one is...
that sticker comes from the factory?
Yeah.
We put that on there first.
No, I pulled this straight out of the bag.
All right, cool. Boom, rotating.
So these are ratcheted to just like the majority of these heads up here. I didn't actually count to see how many they have in terms of rotations. I wish I did on that, but...
I think it's 16 or 18.
I thought it was 16 or 18. Yeah, that's what I thought. I know one of them is 18, so yeah. So again, this one actually has nozzle inserts on it. So the head doesn't actually come off, but it has nozzle inserts, so you can actually change the orifice the water's going to come out of. So very, very similar to the Blue Square and to the PV3. So then that way you can get it. Typically with your PCC 2000 systems, you're going to be having rotating everywhere around the bottom of the floor, and typically you have anywhere from 2 to 4 that run off of a dedicated pump.
Yeah, they have like a, oh my gosh, what is it called? It's some kind of curtain. Shoot.
Well, those are
comment below if you know what it is.
Yeah.
But there's 2 fixed heads that I was talking about that blow towards the drain.
Yeah.
So that it tries to flush everything towards the drain as it's moving around the pool. So
these move around all the
So if you see 2 heads up all the time, that's on purpose.
Yeah, don't be alarmed.
Yeah.
Especially if they're located by your drain, that's purposely.
Yeah.
So, and then typically you're gonna have these guys on your steps. Sometimes I've seen the full size ones on your steps, but most of the time they'll put the PV3 or the step nozzles, PCC 2000 step nozzles on there for you, so it's a little bit less for the step, just depending on the size. But
did we do it?
Yeah, I think we did. I think we ran through them all. I think we're about to head out to the field and kind of show you guys some live action and show you guys the valve as well as the heads in action, give you some cool B-roll footage so that way you guys can kind of see them working in action.
Yeah.
And
I think we threw some dirt in someone's pool.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, again, shout out to the person that's going to let us go to their pool and destroy it. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
So
that thing is a mess now.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, so stay tuned. We're going to head out to the field. All right, guys, and we're back. Today we're going to walk you guys through a few basic steps in the field on showing you guys an actual valve in action with the pump on, get everything set up. Then we'll walk you guys through how the heads actually operate. We'll actually toss some dirt in there on the pool for you guys, so you guys actually can see these things work in action. And then from there, we'll go ahead and show you guys how to use a tool to do some minor maintenance and go ahead and take one out and show you guys how to put it right back in. So stay tuned.
All right, so here we are back by the equipment. We have the brains of the operation, which is the valve itself, the water valve that controls the pop-up heads. When the water is coming into this, the valve is telling which group of pop-up heads to come up at a time. This valve can come with or without a quick stop. So that's the pause control that goes on the side. It allows you to stop the valve on a particular group of heads for diagnosing things. The valve itself, part number, I believe, is 540365, and that comes with the quick stop. And then just like I said, the water that's coming in, the pump's not strong enough to power all the heads at the same time. So that's why the water valve was created, to send water to different groups of heads, allowing the maximum amount of flow to go through those and to clean the surface of the floor there. And that's about it with the water valve.
All right, guys, here we are at the pool. This is a freshly done pool here, so it's looking nice and pretty. I'm definitely a big fan of the color of Pebble Tech that we got going on here. So just for a basic functionality of it, we're gonna actually show you guys some really cool B footage on actually how the heads work and how they'll cycle through their different cycles. So that way you guys can kind of see the actual functionality and the power that these heads hold. Today we are dealing with ANA's Gamma Series 4 adjustables as well as their Gamma Series 4 Venturi heads. So the Venturi heads are the top of the line on the market right now, produced by ANA. Definitely perform a lot better. You guys probably saw earlier in the video when we showed you guys the different styles of heads inside the office, but now we actually get to witness them in action. So typically when you're coming down to ANA, they're going to give you a full spec drawing of all your in-floor cleaning. That's going to tell you what heads need to go where. Typically we don't ever like to put the Venturis on the top steps. In this case, we do have a large Baja step. So with the power that the variable speed pool pump gives, we actually have a VSF pump going on, so it's actually pumping the proper gallons per minute to all the heads at every cycle. So then that way the heads aren't going viciously too strong. So we'll actually show you guys how that works, and then we'll actually throw some dirt in here and actually show you guys how the pop-up heads blow everything towards the direction of the drain. So I know you guys probably can't see it as well, but the drain is located dead center. He's actually got a Pebble top drain, also produced by ANA. So it's real clean, actually has the Pebble Tech on top of it, so then that way it really blends well with the rest of the pool. So the whole goal is all these heads pop up in different cycles to blow everything towards that drain to make sure that you get your cleanest, most optimal efficiency out of the entire system. So let's run into that B footage for you guys and let you guys see how these things function. So here's that beautiful drain that I was telling you guys about a little bit earlier. This is the dual side suction pebble top drain for you. Again, another A&A product. So as you can see, it blends in really well compared to the traditional old style circular drain. So highly recommend if you have the opportunity to use these. Dead center in the middle of the pool, and the whole purpose of all this will be to get those pop-up heads to direct all the dirt and debris directly to that. All right, guys, here we actually did some demonstration purposes for you. On that same top step, we actually took a little bit of sand and dirt and laid it around the edge of the head here for you. It's kind of at random. They have different sets of cycles every time the head comes up, so that way it makes a full 360 degrees to give optimal cleaning in its location. So where we're at right now, we are a little unsure as to where it's going to pop up, so just in case, we got a dirt in a 360 for you guys there, so then that way you guys can actually see the cleaning power that these can produce and how they push the dirt away once they actually reach their cycle. So stay tuned for the cycle.
So what you can see is water's flowing out of the nozzle there, cleaning anything in its path in this direction. When the head drops back down, it'll come up and then ratchet over one turn. These particular heads have 12 stops for them to do a complete 360.
All right, so as you guys can see here, there's a little air in the system. So with the air in the system, those Venturi heads are actually going to clear all the air out of the system before the functionality starts. So be a little rough for you guys to be able to see just with the water movement. The key thing with these Venturi heads is that they're actually pulling in water from above the head as well as from underneath to make sure that you guys get even better cleaning power. So as you can see, with this one, with the Venturi on top, we actually set a leaf up there just to show you how it is actually pulling in the water from the top. So the leaf will actually sit there until the head resides back into the collar and lets go of that pressure, and the leaf will actually float off. There it went, the head sunk down and the leaf is floating away. All right, so here you go. Typically on this top step, as you guys can see, we have a very large Baja step here. So typically you're going to want to put G4 adjustables on here, so then that way you guys can actually pick your nozzle, and that way you're not taking the risk of the Venturi actually sucking the water from the top. It's really hard to actually see the surface of the water here for you, but I'll throw some in there so you can actually see. So in this instance, we actually do have some Venturis on here. As I said before, with the variable speed pool pump and the variable flow it gives, it actually produces the proper flow for all these heads, so you don't actually take the risk of sucking in the air from the top. So special circumstances for it, but this actually works really good. So all right, guys, now we're gonna actually walk you guys through how to remove and reinstall these heads if for whatever reason they're not popping up. Sometimes over time, that just the wear and tear in the pool as well as usage, these heads do go bad, so you do need to purchase new ones. So we've actually got our brand new HammerTech Solutions all metal tool here for you. This is meant for the Gamma Series 3 and the Gamma Series 4, both the adjustables as well as the Venturis. So I'm going to go ahead and remove it. So as you can see, it has the same two teeth on the top here that are actually going to line up into those holes on the head. So simply slide this in. You're gonna go counterclockwise to remove the head. Quarter turn, literally you'll feel it stop and then you just lift up. There you go. So it's really nice the way that this tool sits on the head. It'll actually has little grooves here for you where it'll actually hold the head in place. Let me get rid of this dirt and debris from our... You can actually see it'll actually hold it. So then when you're ready to actually take your new head and reinstall, the good thing with this is it actually comes with this all metal little handle here, so you can actually put this into the pool pole as well. So that way you don't gotta go swimming for the rest of the heads in the rest of the pool. So really handy. So real simple, you're just gonna go the opposite direction with your new head, slide it in and turn clockwise. Quarter turn, just like you removed. Good to go, slides right out. That's how you're going to remove and install these Gamma Series 4 heads with our all new HammerTech all metal tool. All right, guys, so today we walked you guys through the basic functionality of an in-floor system. Got to show you guys some actual heads in action. Again, we went over A&A's Gamma Series heads. We did both the adjustables as well as the Venturi heads. Really beautiful pool. We do appreciate the owner for letting us come out here and use this pool. So shout out, thank you. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button below. We got plenty of videos coming your way. We appreciate all the love and support. I'm Kyle with ePoolSupply. Thanks for watching.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Subscribe today if you haven't subscribed. Check out the links below, and we got a lot more content coming your way. Thank you.